Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from Delta CX, and hey, welcome to Office Hours Ask Us Anything. We've got Dr. Nick joining us. I hope there isn't going to be a big delay between me and him. Sometimes there is, and I haven't fixed that yet. But remember, we are here for at least an hour answering your questions, and you can send them in the live chat. I'll be watching the LinkedIn, the YouTube, and the Twitch chat. Or if you'd like to send them in anonymously, because many people like to poop on where they're working, you can send it to go to deltacx.com/links, and you will see a link that says something about sending in a question for office hours. So please use that. As always, I haven't updated this list in a couple of weeks, but thanks to everybody who now in the past or in the future has been donating to the channel through the YouTube join button, which is harder to find, easier to find than it used to be. Thank you for keeping me in streaming software and delicious chocolate chips. And so again, optional but appreciated. And Manuel says, excited to see customers know you suck, go viral. Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly going viral just yet, but it had a great first week on Amazon. It was the #1 new release in customer relations, business strategy, business decision making, and consumer behavior. So it is not a bestseller, but it did do very well on the new releases chart in multiple categories. So I was excited about that. And thanks to everybody who's been buying it and reading it and sending me some really cool notes about how much they're digging it. Get your questions ready. Hey, Malika, our cover artist, everybody. Let's bring Dr. Nick in. You know him, you love him, but let's learn more about him anyway. Dr. Nick, who the heck are you?
Hey, buddy. I'm Dr. Nick. You know me. I don't need to introduce you more. 20-year, 12 or one of the last apparently.
Oh, you are blipping wildly, my friend. This is weird. You and I were talking before the show started and everything seemed fine, and now you're blipping badly. I'm going to drop the bandwidth of what I'm sending back to you, so it's going to look very blurry, but don't worry, Nick, that's just to you. Let's see if that helps. Hello, Tybalt. I'm bad with French sounding names. Hopefully I did okay with that. Oh, we have a question coming in. So, Nick, if you check your interwebs, I will check what our first question is. Give me a moment. Okay. Everybody knows I have to copy and paste from like 900 screens. Okay, cool. We have an interesting question. Thank you to the anonymous person sending this one in. This is really interesting. Let me get it on the screen. Got it in the YouTube description list. And okay, hold on. Sorry, so much copy paste, everybody. Please excuse me. One woman show, except when Dr. Nick is here. All right, let's see how this looks. Oh, I might have to bring the font down. Yes, too big. Okay, so this says, I received a job offer. The salary part is fine, but there are other aspects that don't work well for me. It says things like no maximum working hours. How do I negotiate this? If I negotiate, would it affect the working relationship with my manager?
Oh, wow. This is 100% a you question, not a me question, by virtue of the fact, and I'm going to make an assumption that this is an American or North American question, not a European one, because I think we've got laws that dictate you can't do this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you can totally get away with this in America either. My thought was this was someone somewhere else, but technically it doesn't matter where they are. Let's give them some advice. Do you want to start?
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess this is a tough one, because when you start to question things like salary and working hours, they will question your commitment and are you really the guy or gal for this job? You know what I'm saying? It's about work-life balance and all of those things. I mean, I've never had this as an issue in terms of working hours, so I can't relate to this and I can't offer you any personal advice from my experience. And like I say, we have laws that say you have to work 37.5 hours per week. And if you do, you sign an exemption. You definitely don't advertise jobs saying unlimited working hours kind of thing, or uncapped. So I can't really help you. So sorry, I'm sure Debbie's got a much better answer.
I'm going to do my best. This is a weird one. And oh, Carly Grace, I see your question. Hey, we were talking about you recently. How have you been? And Danielle, we see you as well. So I'll get those questions on the list. You'll be 3 and 4 since we've had a couple come in secretly. So I've had a slight variation of this because sometimes agencies get really funky with their timing. I worked at an agency once where the contract wasn't clear about how many hours they expected, and it turned out they expected about 55 hours a week. And they pulled me aside one day and they said, like, you're leaving after 40 or 45, you're leaving after 8 or 8-ish hours a day. And I was like, yep. And they were like, well, you should be staying another hour and a half. And I said, but my work is done for the day. And they're like, but it looks bad if you leave because everyone else is staying. And I said, but my work is done. You want me to sit here and Facebook? Like, it didn't make sense. And I that is not why I ended up quitting, but that was a very strange thing. And I thought, wow, they really hadn't established early on that they expected 55 hours a week from me. I expected something more normal. Amir says, Debbie, can I have a discount code? This show is free, Amir. You're welcome to come to this show absolutely for free, and you can ask questions for free, so you're going to have to be more specific about what you're hoping to get a discount on. Carly Gray says, I've been well. Lots going on. I listen when I get the chance. And, Darren's next UX Chit Chat. Yeah, I think that's in a week or two. Our big party, by the way, is tomorrow. We're having a big end-of-year party on Remo. I've taken away the archaeological site. So, yes, everybody come join that. You can see it in deltacx.link/events. I meant the book. So Amir, if you buy from my website, if you buy it from my website, there is a PDF and EPUB for as little as $1. That is the cheapest I can give you the book. If you are buying a print book, your best bet is Amazon. I'm not offering discounts, and Amazon doesn't let me make discount codes. So if you want to pay the least possible for the book, go to cxcc.to/CKYS. I'll put that on the screen, and buy the digital version for $1. I can't really make it less than that. I might eventually make it less than that, but in general, it kind of can't get less than that. So,
Debbie,
yeah.
I've just been thinking about, whilst you've been doing that stuff, I've just been thinking about this question here.
Yeah, I want to get back to the question.
It definitely resonates, that the Elon Musk Twitter hardcore stuff definitely feels like that this is related. And this is just my thoughts, okay? No facts, opinion, right?
Sure.
It very much feels like the world of business and recruitment, whatever you call it, talent management acquisition, is being polarized into kind of two camps. Those that respect life-work balance and appreciate the performance hit that may come with that kind of a style, and the hardcore, like unlimited hours, we're going to get stuff done together.
Right, you might have to work 80, 100 hours and you can't say no.
Exactly. But that's just what we do to get stuff done here because we're all hardcore and we deliver in 3 months or whatever. And maybe that's great. And frankly, I like that kind of a gig. I couldn't do it for a long time, but it's really fun and it's great if you're younger. But I think that's what you're going to have to start sniffing out and sensing in these job offers, job descriptions. Are they life-work balance or are they hardcore? And this one sounds like a hardcore.
That's a great point. So to the person who asked the question, I think what I would do, especially if you have a written offer, is and if it says no max working hours, first of all, I don't know if there are laws in your country that are around a humane working day. There may or may not be, but I would ask your manager or the person who gave you the job offer, and I would say, I'd like to just get an expectation of what it's going to be like to work here. What are the hours? What time do I start every day? Do I start at 8? Do I start at 9? Do I start at 10? And what time do you expect me to end each day? You know, do we end at 5? Do we end at 6? And the manager, and if the manager can't give you a clear answer, you're starting to get a picture of what's going on there. The manager should be able to say to you, you know, generally we're 9 to 6, but sometimes you have to put in a little bit extra. Or generally we're 9 to 6 or 9 to 5, and we don't allow, you know, we don't want to see people doing work after the end of the day. Go have a life, go home to your family or whatever. So I would just start with the simple question, which I don't think is an unreasonable question, is what time does the day start and what time does the day end? And I think that I would probably ask them, can this be put into my offer or into my contract so that we can be on the same page about the hours of the working day, that I know I'm being paid this amount to work 9 to 6 every day, and that once in a while you might ask for more from me, but that in general, it should be rare that I'm working nights and weekends. And if they go, oh, no, we put in a lot of nights and weekends here, then again, it's up to you whether or not you want to take that job. But I think you need to be set up for the right expectation. You need to know what's coming. Nick.
Yeah, I think you got to be careful how you phrase this stuff, okay? What Debbie's saying is spot on, but how you say that, be really careful. This isn't a criticism of Debbie, because Debbie,
you can improve on it, please.
No, what I'm saying is if I'm the hiring manager and I'm hearing those questions, I'm thinking, nah, because this person's trouble, they're going to hold me to the letter of the law, and you know, sometimes we do work longer. I would ask sideways questions, you know, kind of try to infer the answer. If you can't do it that way, and I mean asking around culture and, you know, what's it like? Do you guys work late all the time, you know, per project? You know, a lot of the ways that Debbie asked it. And then get down to, you know, okay, if it's 60 to 70 hours a week, like, is that like a freak thing? And I don't mind doing it, you know, the week before delivery or whatever those things are, but, you know, not as standard for 50 weeks a year.
Yeah, usually the way that I ask it, the way, and again, my style is not going to be right for everybody. So as Dr. Nick said, please do adjust what I'm saying so that it works for you, your personal style, your culture. But I think I would just be asking kind of, you know, when does the day start and end, and how often do, you know, hey, I'm happy to put in extra time here and there. How often does that happen? And it's interesting because remember, you might not get the truth. I've got a couple of friends who tell me that they asked these questions during their interview and they said, oh no, we believe in culture and work-life balance and you're going to work 9 to 6 and blah, blah, blah. And these people are working nights and weekends almost every night and almost every weekend. So, you know, you can ask these things and you can even ask to have it put into your documentation or not, but just remember, they might not be telling the truth.
Unfortunately true.
Yes, sad but true. Okay, so thank you for that question. Good luck with the new job. I hope they are honest and upfront with you, because that is the best way to start a relationship with anybody. Let's take a look at the next question. How can I get better with analyzing research and critical thinking to provide better solutions after research?
How do I get better at analyzing my research? That's a good question. The one that springs to mind immediately is different perspectives, different data sources, different methodologies. People often get stuck, well, not stuck in a rut, but they kind of get into a groove of a certain kind of a style. And often the gigs or the job that at hand requires that style to do it repeatedly. But that also builds you in a certain way, which isn't bad. It's specialist and good, but there's other ways, and those other ways may also have value to you as a researcher and to the analysis that you're doing. So having that kind of broader toolbox to be able to draw from means you might be able to try some new stuff out, get some better insight from it, or by combining data sources, which is usually the best way of doing it. That's my quick answer off the bat. Yeah.
Yeah, some of my advice recently to some more newbie researchers were things like try looking at things in different ways. Try taking your Miro board and copy pasting it and reorganizing things in different ways to combine things that maybe you hadn't first considered could go together. For critical thinking, we do a show every other Friday here, practicing critical thinking. Come join those shows. There's a whole playlist of them here on the YouTube channel. With all kinds of critical thinking episodes. So for critical thinking, ask a lot more questions. And another thing that I think helps is whatever you think you know about whatever this is, take that out of it. Go by what you learned in the research. Don't go by what you think you know or what you think people need. I sometimes see newbie researchers making a mistake where they either lean on what they think is a good idea, or sometimes they're career transitioners and they are coming from marketing or being a psychologist or something else, and they kind of go, well, when I used to work in that, this would have been my marketing advice, so I think I'll give these people some marketing advice. And I'm thinking, sometimes I look at that and I go, okay, that's marketing advice, but where'd you get any of that? None of that came from your research. So I think when we think about analysis and synthesis and some of the suggestions that we make, even if those suggestions aren't solutions, but some of the suggestions and advice, or as Dr. Ari would say, the point of view that you present at the end of your study, it's got to tie back to the research. It can't just tie back to what you think sounds like a good idea or what your current or previous career would have said is a good way to market this or whatever it might be. Make sure you are tying things to the research. If you feel like the research is not giving you the data and evidence that it should have, take that as a growth and learning opportunity, that maybe you made some research mistakes this time. Maybe get a mentor or coach to look at your plan, your questions, your Miro board. Have someone look at that stuff. I think it's very hard to get better at something like research in a vacuum. There's only so good I can get at piano taking no piano lessons. So this is the kind of thing where sometimes I think you have to have a mentor or coach take a look at it. Nick, something to add?
Only on critical thinking. Critical thinking is actually easy, really easy. You just have to question everything. Now that bit is a little bit harder, but all that is a muscle that you can grow really quickly. You've just got to train yourself to just not accept the things that you perceive immediately. It takes a little bit of training and uncoupling, but with practice, you'll do it really quickly. You've got to be careful, like me and others, and probably like Debbie too, you get a hair trigger for this stuff and you have to kind of keep it under control. But it's a very, very key skill to have in this misinformation age. You have to be able to critically evaluate everything that comes into your body, everything.
Yep, and we do that every Friday. So again, come over to the YouTube universe here, Delta CX. Please subscribe, tell people about it, and check our playlist called Practicing Critical Thinking. I teach it usually every other Friday. Thanks to Amira and Walter for the questions. I've added them to the bottom of the list. We have a few questions before you. We're not ignoring you. We're just getting to other questions first. Next question. Let me get it up on the screen. Okay. Hi, Dr. Nick and Debbie. What is something you do not see as much nowadays in UX that was more common before? Maybe something positive and something negative. I'm not sure we've got anything positive, but go ahead, Nick. Yes.
I was just going to say just about everything I know and have learned. That pretty much summarizes it.
Right. No crying.
Okay, I won't cry. Okay, the obvious one is information architecture. It died long before UX did. It does exist in small pockets. I'm not saying it doesn't get done, but it's one of those things that used to be bog standard, like 101 foundation. You didn't hit a wireframe without one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas now, I haven't done an IA at least 5 or 6 years, and I've worked for massive brands on big projects, right? Okay, I've also been a user researcher, so there's that. Okay, it hasn't been in my wheelhouse as a user researcher. It's not, and that's partially the problem. IA doesn't really. It does fall within research, but not within the gigs that I've been doing. It doesn't. I think information architecture should be the preserve of content design moving forwards. I think it's perfect for them. I really do. I think content really need it to help bolster their practice, and we need them because it's so semantic based.